You know what hurts more than a team being upset in March Madness? The underdog teams who almost complete those near upsets, but lose on a buzzer beater, or their shot being off by a couple of inches. There have been so many lower ranked teams in March Madness to almost change the course of history, yet have now become forgotten. And since the big dance is right around the corner, I wanted to look at those teams that probably should have been remembered as the greats for their action on the court. This first team was one that got ruined by the refs just this past season. 4-seed Kansas were set to play 13-seed Samford in the 2024 Big Dance. Kansas was coming in after a disappointing Big 12 tournament, losing in upset fashion to Cincinnati, while Samford had just won the Southern Conference as the 1 seed. Now as for the game, it was kind of going how you would expect a 4 vs 13 game to go. Kansas had a 22-point lead with 16 minutes left in the second half. However, the roles are starting to change. Just 6 minutes later, Samford brought it within single digits and kept closing the gap ever so slightly till it was a 4-point game with a minute left. An emphatic slam brought it within 2, but the Bulldogs let KJ Adams be left wide open to move the lead back to 4. Samford nearly threw the game away, but won a jump ball their next possession, and where they ran a perfect inbounds play, hitting the 3 to cut the lead to just 1 point. DeJuan Harris got the inbounds pass, and he passed it up to Nicholas Timberlake, who then went for the dunk instead of pulling the ball out to waste time, and apparently got fouled on this attempt. Every single angle of this play shows different, all ball and no foul. That should have been a clean block, with Samford going the other way to win the game in the final possession, and it should have gone down as one of the greatest defensive plays we have ever seen in March Madness. The refs robbed Samford of this potential win, and they robbed the fans of what could have been an all-time great March moment. While there were several replay reviews during the game, that particular play was not reviewable. What a shame. Samford probably would have been better against Gonzaga than Kansas did in the second round, too. In 2019, there was one game I was 75% convinced was going to be an upset. This 9-seed vs 1-seed game had all the hype too, with 1 seed being Duke, who had the quadruple freshman phenoms, and Trey Jones, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, and Zion Williamson. 9-seed UCF on the other hand, who had the tallest man in basketball, Taco Fall. This was a back and forth game the first half until the 2-minute mark when Duke pulled away for the 44-36 halftime lead. Didn't help UCF also, as Taco only played 8 minutes because he had 2 fouls, and where the team was significantly better with him on the floor. The Knights brought it back to a tied ball game with 10 minutes left due to Aubrey Dawkins and Taco Fall leading the charge. But Taco received foul number 4 at the 9:30 mark. Taco checked back in at the 6:40 mark, and where once again, him and Aubrey Dawkins were trading baskets with Zion all the way to a tied 70-70 game. Dawson hit a step back, 72-70. Fall got a maybe controversial dunk, 74-70. Reddish hit a 3, 74-73. Then with a minute remaining, Javan Delore was sent to the line for Duke, where he missed both of his free throws. UCF's next possession proceeded down to the floor to also draw a foul to get to the line BJ Taylor, who went 2 for 2. Zion attempted a 3, missed, but Duke got the offensive board and the shot clock was turned off. Zion then made up for his miss with an incredible and 1 against Taco. He missed the free throw, yet RJ Barrett got the offensive board and put it back in. Now football is usually called the game of inches, but this final shot and put back by UCF was indeed inches. The initial miss by BJ Taylor rattled off the rim, and the man of the game for UCF, Aubrey Dawkins, had a wide open chance. The ball just didn't fall, and Duke survived. Duke survived another near upset in the Sweet 16 against Virginia Tech, then lost in the Elite 8 against Michigan State. Another 4-seed vs 13-seed matchup was the near upset in 2015. With that being 4-seed Louisville Cardinals going up against 13-seed UC Irvine Anteaters. This game also featured a towering 6'7" big man of its own and Mamadou Ndiaye for Irvine, while Louisville had Terry Rozier, Montrezl Harrell, and Wayne Blackshear. First half ended with a buzzer beater tip-in for UC Irvine to put the game within 2, 30-28, Louisville led. Irvine didn't let Louisville get higher than a 4-point lead to where eventually the Anteaters tied the ball game at 53-all after a fast break bucket. Irvine got a stop with a minute 30 remaining, and on their following possession, Luke Nelson made a tough shot to take the lead 55-53. Wayne Blackshear made a tough shot of his own around Ndiaye to tie the game. After a timeout, Irvine wasted almost their entire shot clock, shot an alright 3, however, the shot was off the mark. Louisville then got fouled on a rebound, and Quentin Snyder was sent to the line. He made both free throws, giving the Cardinals a 57-55 lead. UCI had a timeout and 5.7 seconds for a miracle. But on the inbound pass, Luke Nelson fell and threw the ball away to Louisville, giving Louisville the win, not even getting a shot off for a chance to win. Now that's tough. Louisville did make a run to the Elite Eight and lost in overtime, but I think UC Irvine could have definitely made the Sweet 16. I still don't know how Northern Iowa was a 5 seed. For the big dance in 2012, this near upset wasn't lost to the refs or even a last-second shot, but rather the team's lack of offense for the entirety of the second half. 12 seed UCF just came off an upset win against Wichita State opening round, and as we college basketball fans know, UCF under Shaka Smart was dangerous. Except this Indiana Hoosiers team was pretty decent themselves, led by sophomore Victor Oladipo and freshman Cody Zeller. For this first half of basketball, UCF was holding the lead by just one, 42-41. Second half was very depressing for both teams on the offensive standpoint, especially VCU. VCU still held and grew the lead 57-51 with 10.5 minutes remaining, yet were only able to score just 4 points in those final 10.5 minutes. Indiana was down 61-58 in the final minute, where Oladipo made an and one while also making the free throw to tie the game. A Rams missed their following possession, led to an Oladipo pass to Will Sheehy mid-range jumper to give Indiana the 63-61 lead. VCU had one last chance and had a great look from three. The ball just fell short, and Indiana survived the Shaka upset. Self-implosion was the Rams' kryptonite as they even forced 22 turnovers against the Hoosiers, but could only make 40% of their total shots. A bit of a shame as VCU made the Final Four the year prior, so fans were hoping for another run by the team. Indiana went on to lose in the Sweet 16 against the eventual champion Wildcats of Kentucky. 6 years before Indiana and VCU, a 2 seed versus a 15 seed saw maybe a controversial ending. Tennessee under Bruce Pearl were coming in on a shaky end of the season by going 2-4 in their last 6, with all of those losses to unranked opponents. The Winthrop Eagles, on the other hand, under Greg Marshall, barely snuck into the tourney after beating Coastal Carolina in the Big South Championship by 1. Like most of these games previously mentioned, Winthrop and Tennessee were close at half with the Volunteers up 36-34. For the entirety of the second half, no team held more than a 4-point lead, with 7 lead changes all the way to a tied 61-61 ball game with 2:42 remaining. Both teams went ice cold from here on out, with Winthrop missing their best opportunity coming at 40 seconds left in the game. While Tennessee had their best opportunity with a wide-open 3 of their own at 12 seconds, they missed the shot and eventually got the offensive rebound and called a timeout. There was 2.9 seconds left on the clock. Dane Bradshaw was inbounding the ball, made the pass to Chris Lofton, who then made this shot.
Lofton for the win. Oh, my goodness! It's a 2-point shot. There's .4 on the clock.
Tennessee did survive 63-61. The controversy in this play was that fans say Lofton may have walked before his shot. I don't see it though, but that's just me. Another part is that a bench player ran onto the court before Winthrop called their timeout, which should have resulted in a technical, which I do see. Tennessee did go on to get upset second round by 7 seed Wichita State. Now NCAA basketball fans didn't know this at the time, but in 1989, one team actually saved the March Madness we know of today. Princeton were set to face Georgetown in a tournament, with this game being the 16 seed versus a 1 seed. The major conferences were having discussions to eliminate each of the 2 weakest D1 conferences in automatic bid, wanting to pick the outcasts on Selection Sunday, which would have taken away a bubble conference's postseason tournament, meaning some Cinderellas would have to sit home and not attend. But this Princeton-Georgetown game actually became known as the game that saved March Madness. This game got fans really excited because by half, Princeton were up 29-21, holding the Hoyas to their lowest first half total of the season. In the second half, Georgetown was slowly climbing back into the game, not to mention, Georgetown already was somehow in the bonus with 15 minutes left in the game. Nevertheless, Georgetown took the lead back 39-38 at the 9.5 minute mark, which then led to back and forth basketball the rest of the game, leading to a tied 49-49 ball game with a minute 37 to go. Princeton dwindled their shot clock all the way down to a minute 7, but then threw an errant pass across court for a turnover. Then with 30 seconds left, the Hoyas took a shot, missed, got their offensive rebound, missed again, and then Alonzo Mourning got another offensive rebound, and he was finally fouled. Mourning only made 1 of his 2, then Princeton took a timeout. 10 seconds left and clock running out, Princeton attempted a 3, but was blocked. Georgetown tried to save the ball and throw down court, but stepped out of bounds in the process with a second remaining. Princeton attempted the game winner, but was blocked again, and the crowd didn't like it. Georgetown would advance after their near-historic loss all the way to the Elite Eight, losing to Duke by 8. So how much history would have been changed if these upsets happened? Well, it doesn't seem like too much since most of these teams that survived upsets lost in the very next round. But these games always make you wonder how far these Cinderellas could have danced at the ball if they would just have won that game. No doubt we will see more of these games occur in the future. I just hope I can predict it in my bracket. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.